Welcome to this new course, Visionary Architectural Research, Finding the DNA of Your Project. I'm Moshe Katz, an architect and interdisciplinary artist, and I'm here to teach you this innovative course that takes you on a journey to go back to the beginning, to find the DNA of your design, to go into the depth of the ideas and the research process until you find your inspiration to create your amazing structures and architectural designs. This is the introduction lesson, and I would like to talk to you about what is the creative research, why is it important, and why do we actually need that in our process? Especially as architects and designers, we are going through a process of developing a project from inspiration, from abstract notions, all the way to a concrete design and execution and a plan. So once we want to go through this process of designing something incredibly new, innovative, and interesting and visionary, we have to go through a different kind of a research, not just the functional one, not just about the site, but something that takes us all the way to the beginning, all the way to the spirit of the project itself. So what do we need to do in order to start with that creative research? The first step is to change our awareness, to understand that architecture is everywhere. Architecture is hidden everywhere we look, whatever we encounter, whatever we see around us, whatever we want to examine, architecture is already inside. We are looking for the essence of the things, their interior motion, their interior purpose of being. So whatever we examine, we are trying to see if there is a sign, if there is some intuitive understanding of what we're looking at. And we can take that as an inspiration for our architectural design. To do that, we have to adopt to ourselves a multidisciplinary approach where we are opening up to all of these infinite fields of knowledge where we actually leave architecture and design behind, and we go and look for inspiration in all these other amazing places, in nature, in dancing, in fashion, in fabrics, in other forms of design and arts, the fine arts, whatever is interesting for us, whatever we find a certain passion for. This is where we go and start searching and looking for the first signs of inspiration for our project. So once we discover some interesting element, we take that as a sign and we work with that as an element or a language for our project. What you see here is actually a project that was born out of a multidisciplinary approach. So starting from a fabric, from a beautiful material design of threads and stitches and all of these connections of fabrics. And for me, that was a moment of inspiration that I understood I would want to plan a project with these elements, with these understandings of how strings actually come together and create a space in between, the voids, the planes in between. So what you see here, all of these structures that are created in between the lines of the threads, and how do they connect to each other, and what kind of a structure do they create, and the second form of depth and net structure underneath, and so on. So I called it string architecture. And then it came out as a project in Berlin. What you see here is the visualization of this project and how the multidisciplinary approach coming from the field of textiles and fabrics became an architecture. So it became not just a language of a building, not just a superficial language, but it became something that went through from the entire structure, from the outside towards the inside. And as you see here, all the way in every part of the building, there are all of these strings that became the structure for art, to hang different forms of art on top of that. And it was almost the strings that connect every part of the building together and allow a new form of expression on top of it. So the strings here on the exterior, they were the ones to allow different forms of art and exhibitions on top of the facades, and change that each time as a dynamic structure, and from the inside as well.